Dr. Narda here, back with a video. And today I want to talk a little bit about statistics, and I actually want to talk to the people who think they hate statistics. Now, if you've not got a chance, this book, Statistics for People Who Think They Hate Statistics, is a fantastic book. It does an amazing job at approaching the topic. It's unintimidating, it's approachable, and gosh darn it, it's kind of interesting. Now, you might be asking yourself, why am I in statistics? Some of you are forced to take it by your college. Some of you are here by choice, probably not that many of you. But the thing I want you to think about, and the way I want you to approach it, is approach statistics as unintimidating, as informative. We're also going to talk about how we can apply it in everyday life, how you see statistics everywhere you go and all around you. I'm also going to talk about in this video series how you can lie with statistics. And yes, we'll even have a little bit of fun with statistics. I know that doesn't sound like those two words should go together, but they actually do. Now, the way I approach statistics and the way this book approaches statistics is I like to use SPSS, which is a statistical software created by IBM. It's an amazing tool because when you're out there in the real world, you don't have to calculate a bunch of data by hand, and you won't be able to calculate data by hand, especially if you have data sets with hundreds, thousands of people in it. There is no way you can calculate a t-test by hand or by ANOVA by hand. Now, this book and myself in this video series that will be talking about how you can calculate it by hand, but the emphasis is going to be on how we interpret it using SPSS and how you potentially could use other programs to interpret statistics as well. Now, if you think about statistics, it goes way, way, way back. The first set of data pertaining to populations was collected during the 17th century, and they realized a need arose to develop a set of tools to help answer specific questions. And the interesting thing is, basic statistical procedures were not created for psychology or the social sciences. They were originally in the field of agriculture, astronomy, and politics. Psychology grabbed onto it much, much later in its history. Now, you might be asking, what is statistics? I'm going to talk about how you can break statistics down. And the way we look at statistics is, well, two big branches. Either you can have statistics to describe a population. So it's a way of describing a population, even organizing your data. We call that descriptive statistics. Or you can have what we call inferential statistics, or statistics that you use to make inferences about a population. Now, just as that descriptive word says, we use it to organize and describe the characteristics of a particular data set. Now, descriptives is amazing because it helps us understand the data we're working with. We can see how many participants we have. We can see how many are male, how many are female. We can get a breakdown of the ethnicity. We can get a breakdown of their age. And it helps the researcher and helps you as you're reading papers and looking through some of these, even news articles, to kind of make sense of who was my population and how were they tested. Now, I often refer to data as just data, or you can call it a data set. Either way is fine. Either way works, but descriptives is very, very important. A great example of descriptive statistics is the average. So if I went around and I looked at, I don't know, my YouTube channel, if I could collect everybody and I knew everybody's age, I could find the average age on my YouTube channel. I could also look at the most popular major in a college. So, maybe I go to a college and I want to figure out the most popular major is. I am biased. I kind of think it's psychology, but that's probably not the case. I'd have to actually do research. We would call that the mode. So getting your average is your mean. That's one type of average. And getting the most popular major or category is called your mode, and those are all measures of central tendency, things that I will talk about much later on as I go through this video series with all of you, and I hope you stick around for it. Now, there is a practice thing, and you could work on this yourself, and I'll leave it up here on the screen, but if you could tell me what's the most popular major, so that'd be the mode. Could you also get me the mean age of all the students in this class? And the other thing is, could you get the median age of everybody in this class? And I will put the answers down in the comments, and I'll talk. If you happen to be in one of my courses, I will definitely talk to you about this. Now, inferential statistics is a fascinating topic as well, because you can use this to make inferences about a larger population based on a small data set. Now, in reality, we don't have the time or the money or even the resources to, we don't even know everybody in a population often, to collect data from a population. So, for example, let's say that I go to, I want to collect all the people that, go to X college, right? Let's just say Stanford. And I want to know how many people here like dogs versus cats. Now, I realistically cannot ask every student on campus. One, it's hard to find. Two, they probably wouldn't answer me. They probably wouldn't have nothing to do with me. So a population is like all the occurrences of a certain characteristic. So I'd want to know in this population, how many people love dogs versus cats. Now, realistically, I can't do that. So I have to draw on a subset of the population called a sample. Now, this would be a smaller subset, and it should be representative, which we'll talk about a little bit later, meaning it should reflect the larger population as a whole in terms of characteristics. So I'd want to maybe make sure that the data I collect had the right ratio of like males to females and a good breakdown of ethnicities. As long as it reflects my larger population, that is my aim when I'm thinking inferential statistics. And I could take that sample, if I do it well, and make inferences back to the larger population. So I can infer things from my sample back to my population. And that's why we call it inferential statistics. So here's a very simple example, but let's say I take 100 people with depression. I split them up into two groups randomly. I give group one a sugar pill. We can also call that a placebo, right? Because sometimes just giving somebody something makes them feel better. So I want to cover my bases there, right? Just to make sure that maybe just giving you a pill makes you feel better. And then let's say I have a group two and I give them a new depression drug. So I got 50 people in group one, 50 people in group two, and then I could find a statistically significant difference, or I could test for one. It doesn't mean there will be one, but I can run like a t-test, for example, independent sample t-test to see if there is a significant difference between the new depression pill and a sugar pill. Again, and then I can go and make an inference back to my larger population and say, yes, this drug would work, or no, this drug would not work. And again, that's just a very basic overview of inferential statistics. Now, the thing I want you to take away is statistics helps us, one, organize information. It's not that scary, but it's a way of organizing information. And statistics can be used in a bunch of different fields. Statistics can be used all over, as I said, astronomy, agriculture, politics, psychology, sociology, biology, pretty much. There's sports. Any sports fans out there? You could use it in sports all the time. Average runs batted in, average points per game. Anyway, so it could be used everywhere, all over the place. Probably places you don't even realize it. So you might be thinking, what the heck am I doing in statistics class? So either you're in one of my classes if you're watching this video, or you're in another professor's statistics class. And you might be thinking to myself, why am I here? Not the existential question why you're here, but like, why am I in this class? Well, it looks good on a transcript. That's good. Sometimes you're forced to do it as well. So a lot of colleges make you take statistics, but I honestly think it's to your benefit. It helps set you apart from other people. I would argue it's intellectually challenging, and I really enjoy that. So it gives you something to think about, a different way of viewing the world, and maybe a more an objective way to look at the world, and we'll talk about that. I would argue it makes you a better student because you have more tools at your disposal. I think it gives you a good foundation for science, research methods, and a good foundation for just being out there in the world and being a good citizen and a good consumer of research. And as I've already alluded to, it gives you a different perspective on life. It gives you a different way at looking at the reality objectively. So it just gives you another tool in your arsenal. And to be honest with you, we're very bad at statistics. We do not, our brains are not very good at predicting statistics at all. We are awful at it. For example, there's the heuristic, the availability heuristic. And for example, sometimes people base the probability of something happening based on how many occurrences they can think of, or how often, how many things they can come up with. A great example is plane crashes. We see them on the news, and then we think to ourselves, oh my God, the plane crashes seem so common, but in reality, they're not. It's just that when they happen, they get sensationalized, and we can think about them. Just like shark attacks, right? You might have seen the movie Jaws or Deep Blue or any of these movies. And you might think, oh my gosh, if I go in the ocean, a shark is waiting for me. And we know in reality that's not the case if you actually look at the statistical numbers and you actually see how many people are attacked by sharks every year in the world. And it's very, very small. Couple things to keep in mind, whether you're using my book or another book. Remember, you're not dumb. Things are challenging. Some statistics are harder than others. Don't ever skip any lessons, whether you're in my class or another class. Well, form a study group. That is amazing. If you can form a study group, do it. Ask questions of me or another instructor you might have. Do the exercises at the end of the book, whether it's my book or another book, do the exercise. Practice, practice, practice. That is 100% true. Run through problems, do them by hand, do the examples in the book. That's so important because the more you do something, better off you get at it. So the neurons that fire together or wire together, that mean the more you do something, kind of like riding a bike, the better you get at it. Same thing with statistics. Look for real world applications. I will share some on my YouTube channel with you guys and in class if you happen to be in my class. And try to have fun. Try to have fun. I know it's a weird word to say that in a statistics class, but try to have as much fun as you can. It'll help you learn. And if you're in my class, there are short bios in the book. There's also some statistical tricks and procedures that were invented by real people. So I like this book because it'll show you some people who are very famous and who invented some of these things. And they'll kind of give you an insight into the history of statistics. I think it's fascinating. In this book in particular, in the statistics for people who think they hate statistics, there's actually happy faces. And the more happy faces, the easier the question. So one happy face, you still have one happy face, but that's a harder question. To 5 happy faces, that's a really, really easy question. So just note that in your book, and that's the index of happiness. But even those very hard ones, I know you can get through it, absolutely, if you try. There's also a glossary in the back of the book. The bolded terms are important. That's why they bold and make them bold. So if you ever run into a term that's emboldened or bolded, I don't even know the right word. Thank goodness I'm not an English professor. If there's everything in black, dark black print, that's an important word. Make sure you look in the back of the book. Make sure you know that word. There's also real-world statistics in every chapter of this book, which I think is awesome. It'll show you how to use a particular method. It'll show you how to use it in basically a particular test. It'll maybe show you a statistical concept or how it was founded or where it came from. So if you have not gotten a chance, please make sure you take a look at those. If you're in my course, if you're lucky enough to be in one of my courses, I will bring that in and I will show you those and we will talk about those. So I will bring you real-world examples in. So that's kind of cool and we'll discuss. Now, you've made it through this lecture. It's only a 14-minute lecture, so maybe 15, 16, depending on how long this video goes. But it wasn't that bad. Make sure you read the book. Take one chapter at a time. Don't try to look at everything at once. Take one concept at a time. Break these complex things down into manageable pieces of information. Use your resources. Make sure you form a study group. Make sure you ask questions of me if I happen to be your professor, or if you have another professor, or if that professor is a teaching assistant, send the teaching assistant a note. Let them know. If you're one of my students, send me a note. I will be happy to help you, happy to answer your questions. Anyway, there's also time to practice sections in your book. You want to take a look at those. Those are fantastic. Again, that's that practice, practice, practice. And there's also this book has a study site. I highly encourage you to go there. There's practice quizzes, e-flashcards. There's some curated videos not made by me, but if you have not done so already, please like and subscribe to my channel. You don't get extra credit if you're in my classes, but you will learn something, so that's kind of cool. Anyway, with that said, that is it for me today. I enjoyed hanging out with all of you. I hope I will see you all next time. Take care. Bye for now. Oh, and I'll see you in the next video. I'll be looking for you.